All right, everyone, welcome to today's video. Sitting out here at the college celebrating. Did I say college? Cottage celebrating. Got my Yeti cup loaded down with some fresh Mai Tai. Oh, by the way, thank you, Dan, for bringing me these Yeti cups here. These are perfect for drinking the Mai Tai because you know how the humidity and everything melts your ice fast. These are great. So I appreciate you, Dan. I know, me and you talked this morning, and we talked about drinking some bourbon, right? Well, it's so dadgum hot, and I know it's not as hot as it is in North Carolina right now, but it's pretty dadgum hot. I wanted something refreshing, so I went with a Mai Tai, little rum, little calamansi, little sugar syrup, and lots of ice. And it is hitting the spot right now. Now, guys, this is my third take on this video. The first one, I didn't have my mic on. I didn't have any of this on. The second one, I didn't even have the video on. So this is take number 3. So anyway, I don't know how this is going to go, but I will tell you one thing. I'm a little bit more intoxicated now than I was when I first started this little video project. So anyway, guys, it is July the 20th, it's Sunday morning here in the Philippines, and my actual retirement date, did I even get to that? I think I just blew right over that. Oh, the reason I'm celebrating is it's my 4-year retirement anniversary today. And not today, but it was yesterday on the 19th. I'm actually doing my little celebration today because the 19th is bittersweet for me. On July the 19th of 2022, Sergeant C.J. Nelson of the Edmond Police Department was killed on the line of duty on his motorcycle. He was the first Edmond officer killed in the line of duty ever in history since 1890 something, right? So he was not just a colleague, he was my fellow Hawaiian at the department. If you didn't know, I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. So was CJ. CJ was actually Hawaii 5-0. He was the true Hawaii 5-0. He worked for Honolulu PD for a year before he came to Edmond Police Department. And I had the privilege and opportunity of being one of his field training officers and got to impart some of my stupidity. I wouldn't call it knowledge, my stupidity on that poor fella, and luckily he was able to get past my stupidity and actually learn something. Now, anyway, guys, so July 19th is always going to be a little bit of a bittersweet day. Yes, it was my retirement date back in 2021, but it was also the day CJ was killed in 2022. So anyway, guys, I'm not really here to harp on something that happened in the past that was bad. But, we all have that in our stories, right? And so all of you guys out there watching this video, if listening to a redneck, listening to a southerner tell stories is not your thing, and you get bored or you get frustrated with how slow I talk and all that, you might as well just click off this one right now. And don't leave a comment. There's no reason to leave a comment. Just click off. Go enjoy yourself, right? But that's going to be what this video is about. I'm going to talk, and we're going to just tell stories, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. But the main reason I'm doing this video is not for you, it's for me. So me and Christine, one of these days, 10 years down the road, we're sitting here in this beach house, and we're like, we've watched all the Netflix we can watch this week. Hey, let's go look at some of these old videos from the channel. And then I pop this one up and go, hey, here's my 4-year anniversary video, retirement anniversary video. And we'll pop it up, and I'll just see what my thoughts and my feelings were. So here we go, guys. If you would have told me 7 years ago that I was going to be living here on the beach in the Philippines, I would have told you you're crazy. You're smoking crack. It ain't going to happen. Number one, that I would have retired, because I was one of those guys that said, no, you can't just work 20 years. You've got to work 25 years. You've got to get all the benefits that you can out of the pension. Now, I wasn't willing to work 35 years because that would have put me real old. But because I got a late start on the police department, I didn't start till I was 32. So at 52, I had my 20 years on and I was able to retire. So for me to put on 25 years, I'd be 57. I would have one more year to get in that 25-year mark. And yeah, I could have been into some pretty good money with my pension. I really could have. Because right now, police departments all over the United States are trying to do everything they can to retain their officers, right? And Edmond's one of them. And they have given all their officers some pretty good incentive to stay longer than 20 years. I've got some friends that are taking advantage of that. And more power to them, man. I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm the fool that didn't even take my own advice. I retired at 20 years, popped smoke, and I got out. But if you would have told me that 7 years ago, I'd have said, no, not going to happen. I'm going to keep working. But there was some things that happened in my life that changed that changed me. And one of them was going through my last divorce. It was going through some relationship things and everything else. I was in a bad place in my life in 2017. I knew Christine because she was this little Filipina girl, this little Asian girl that came to work for our company where I did security. See, I had two jobs. I was on the Edmond Police Department, and then I also worked security at this company that deals in gold and silver and, precious metals, right? And we were both, I'd been working there for 10 years or whatever. I totally worked there for 10 years. So I'd been there at that point probably 8 years. Christine came to work, and that's how I knew her. Well, she got her car broken into in Edmond where I worked, and I was the only actively working Edmond officer working at our company. We had a lot of retirees that worked security at that same company. That's how I got the job. The owner of the company liked Edmond police officers, and he hired us to do security work, right? And so, yeah, I was the only active working officer for Edmond Police Department at that company at the time. So Christine hits me up. She's like, hey, my car got broken into, and this guy who broke into my car, he found me on Facebook, and he's been trying to chat with me on Facebook. And I'm like, well, number one, he's an idiot. But number two, you need to contact the detective working your case, and you need to tell him everything that you just told me. And so she did. Still don't know how that case came out. But anyway, that's how me and Christine started talking. Next thing you know, she's inviting me to a Filipino New Year's party in 2018, beginning in 2018. And I enjoyed that party. Then we started talking more. We started a relationship. And shortly after that, I had a really, really bad day at work. It was a really, really bad day in life, and I almost ended my own life. Guys, I get it. I mean, if I'm trying to monetize this channel, I'm not going to talk about this. But I know there's a lot of people out there that's going through the same thing or have been through the same thing, and I'm not ashamed of it. We all go through these things. I think you're more of a man to be able to talk about it than you are of a man of trying to squash it back. Anyway, so I had this really bad day. It was really, really bad. It's a wonder I survived it. But the moral of the story is Christine was there. She was there for me. And she removed absolutely all doubt that this girl was on my side and she loved me. Absolutely removed all doubt. Because she loved me at my worst. She could have popped smoke and said, you know what, this is too much baggage for me. This is too much for me to deal with and to bear with. I'm out. But she didn't. She stuck by my side. And she's still been by my side even till today. And I love her for that, and I appreciate her for that. And I will eternally be grateful to her for that. For just having a heart and sticking by my side. And she did. So the next thing you know, we're contemplating marriage, right? And in 2020, on June 20th of 2020, we got married. We had to do it in the United States because of the big 19 that was going on all over the world. We couldn't travel. We had plans to come to the Philippines to get married here, but that didn't happen. And hindsight being 2020, now I understand. We were coming here anyway, permanently. So that's what we did. So anyway, we got married in Sasakwa, Oklahoma, USA. Beautiful, on a beautiful piece of property. Thank you all to our Razor folks, our Razor crowd there for, man, allowing that. God, just one of the best things in the world that ever happened right there. Beautiful wedding out there in the middle of a pasture on a pond. It was great. And then shortly after that, we're on our way to Colorado. We've got the fifth wheel loaded down. We've got the Razor. I'm pulling the whole load up to Colorado. And we go to Silverton, Colorado. We're going to ride the Razor all around the Alpine Loop and everything up there. Well, one thing started happening after another. First, the truck breaks down. We get it going again, but it's a iffy haul all the way to Colorado. And then we get there, we're riding the Razor. Then the fuel pump goes out on the Razor. Then I ended up having to put 2 new batteries in the truck. And it was just one thing after another. And by the time we got done with that trip, I had quit dipping Copenhagen because I was doing that. I used to dip snuff all the time. But that trip broke me of that. I quit, and I haven't had a pinch of snuff since Colorado. Matter of fact, I had 2 cans in my truck of Copenhagen for years until I sold that truck, just in case I wanted to go back. And finally, when I sold that truck, I looked in the console. I just opened them up, threw them in the trash, and was done with it. So that was one good thing. But number 2 is it made me and Christine realize that things are just things. They're crap. And guys, I'm not trying to be judgmental here. If you're happy with your life, then so be it. Live your life. But it wasn't for us. And these are the decisions that me and Christine made during those years. So what we realized is that we have a mountain of debt. And all we're doing is working. I was working 2 jobs. She's working 1 job plus taking care of me. So she's working 2 jobs. But anyway, we're both working our tails off to make payments on things that will probably fall apart before we even get them paid off. And we owned nothing. We absolutely owned nothing. And it was all, we couldn't even go enjoy a vacation without something breaking. And I had to spend an extra $1,000 on that particular Colorado trip before we got done, on top of all the fuel and the camp space fees and everything else that we had to deal with. And you're going, why? And then the stress that we had to go under. I was stressed out. When we got caught in Lake City on the other side of the pass from Silverton on the Alpine Loop, my dog is in the camper because we couldn't just tie her up and leave her out there by herself, right? She's in the camper. We're in Lake City with a fuel pump that's gone down on the freaking Razor. I was worried sick that we were going to make it back over the pass and back to our camper, to our fifth wheel, so that we could take care of our dog. Is that a vacation? No, it wasn't. It was a whole lot of stress is what it was. And so I was like, you know what? This is stupid. And it was shortly after that, after a lot of contemplating, a lot of back porch sitting, a lot of just talking to Christine like we still do every day, that we decided that, you know what? I think it's time to retire. And there was a lot of things going on in the world, right? Back in the United States. You still had the old 19 going on. But you also had riots all over the place and everything else. And it was just not a good time for police officers. I still don't think it's a good time for police officers, but for then it wasn't. You know, you could be one call from having to defend yourself and then being tied up in freaking legalities, if not facing prison for the rest of your life, just on the political environment. Or, as C.J. Nelson showed me a year after I retired and reminded me of why I retired, a man could lose his life in just that quick in that job. And so I was like, you know, I think it's time. I think it's time. And Christine agreed with me. And she had said at one point in time, have you ever thought about retiring in the Philippines? And I told her, no, you know, tell me about this. And she goes, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't want people thinking that you talked me in, you know, that she talked me into it. She wanted me to make that decision on my own. And I'm glad she did it that way. That was very smart, very mature of her to do it that way. And I did. That's where I came across vloggers like Overstay Road and, you know, Old Dog New Tricks and several others, right? And I was learning about being an expat in the Philippines and retiring in the Philippines and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, man, after watching that, I think I might be able to do this. And after a lot of talk and a lot of number crunching and everything else, me and Christine, we decided to do it. We popped smoke and we started selling off everything that we had. Christine still to this day will go, man, I'm sorry you had to sell off all the things that you really liked, like your razor and your house and all these sort of things. And I'm like, baby, I didn't sell off anything that I didn't need to sell off. That was actually a gift. Because all those things we're doing, all they were was debt. You know, a lot of you guys that got a 30-year mortgage on your house and you're only 10, 15 years into that mortgage, you don't own your house. You consider yourself a homeowner, but you're not. So what happens when you've paid on that mortgage for 25 years and then all of a sudden we've got a new sheriff in town and he says, no, your job's not necessary. And you get laid off, fired, whatever. You lose your job. And then 3 months go by and you can't you can't find another job because now you're older, you're not very marketable, and now you can't make your house payment. Well, do you think that bank cares? Do you think they're going to, no, they're going to come get your house. They're going to have you evicted and they're going to take your house that you've made all the payments on for 25 years. They're going to take. Oh, and they've made a ton of interest from you for that. So you don't really own your house. And for those of you guys who, oh yeah, I paid my mortgage off before I retired. Well, what happens when, you know, you lose it? You lose a lot of stuff, right? You know, things just get outrageous. Property taxes go through the roof, right? And now you can't make your property tax. Let's just say a couple of years go by and you owe the state or the county or wherever, you owe them for property taxes. And then somebody waltzes in and says, you know what? I'm going to pay your property taxes for you, but I'm taking your house. The house that you spent 30 years paying for. They're just going to waltz in and they're going to take it for paying off your property taxes. And now you're out. So do you really own it? No. But see, I moved here to the Philippines and I was lucky enough, I was very fortunate enough to get this beachfront property where I have beach access and road access. And this house right here behind me, it's small, but it's well built, it's solid, and it's paid for. Do I have property taxes? Yeah, but they're very, very small. So, but there's no bank that's going to take this away from me. In other words, guys, I realized that, you know, the American way is debt. It's all debt. And I was like, you know, I'm tired of being, if I can get out of debt, move to the Philippines and still live, then I've won. I've already won the long-term race. Well, little did I know I was going to be able to do even more. I was going to get to do a little bit of traveling. And that's what we've been doing. So that's what happened. So 4 years ago, on July 19th, I retired. And then 6 days later, we were on an airplane to the Philippines in the middle of COVID, right? In the middle of COVID. Yeah, we had to quarantine. We had a lot of challenges, right? I lost money on some airfare because between Manila and Cebu, because I didn't know we were going to have to quarantine up in Manila. There was a lot of things. And then when we got here, a lot of y'all may still remember the video where, man, I was really upset because, as I just told you guys, I sold everything. I didn't want an option to go back to the United States. But as soon as I got here, we got a scare. We got this scare. Somebody came and was asking about me and stuff, and we didn't know. And we, you know, there was a little bit of OA going on with the family and stuff, and we didn't know. We were just like, hell, Christine hadn't even been living here for 10 years in the Philippines. She didn't know either. And so we erred on the side of safety, and we left. We went back to the big city for a little bit to let things cool down. And come to find out, it was a nothing burger. It was nothing. But at the moment, I'm sitting there thinking, holy crap, I just sold everything abroad. And here I am. I haven't even been in country for 2 weeks. And I've already got a scare here. What the hell's going on? Of course, I'm a little upset. And yeah, I had to make a video, and I made a video, and then I deleted that video, and there was some controversy over that. Big deal. I don't care. Live and learn. You know, things happen. And so, yes, there are challenges when you move to the other side of the planet and you're living here in Southeast Asia. It's a whole different culture, whole different climate. But you know what? After 4 years, we've learned that, you know what? Things are okay here. It's great here. We live our lives. We do what we want to do. And the thing is, I'm not living that American rat race anymore. And I'm definitely not having my guts all tore up every single day, wondering if somebody's about to screw me over at work, or worrying about that next call, if it's going to end up being a bad one, or things like that. I'm done with that. And that, having that kind of peace is priceless. You can't beat that. It's priceless. Yes. Did we have some challenges? We absolutely did. You know, when Christine left the Philippines 15 years ago, right? She was 21 years old, something like that. Basically still a kid. She was looking at the Philippines through the eyes of a child. And then when she returned here full time, she did come back once and visit, but now that she came back here full time and was looking at the Philippines, her hometown, her home country, through the eyes of an adult, she saw things a little bit differently. And it was things that concerned her, it was things that hurt her, and things that still hurt her till this day. But are we getting through that? Yeah. We're getting through that big time. We're learning to create boundaries. We're learning to protect our hearts. We're learning not to let others destroy our joy and our peace. And number one, we're learning to take care of ourselves first, and then we worry about the people around us. And that's something very foreign to me and Christine, because our entire lives, we have always spent taking care of everybody else around us. That's the way we both have been. And that's why me and Christine have such a great marriage and a great relationship, because we are cut from the same cloth. We may have an age gap, but we are still cut from the same cloth. And that cloth is probably 6,000 years old. I don't know. But we're cut from that same cloth. So anyway, guys, looking back now over the last 4 years, if I had stayed and I had continued to work at Edmond Police Department in Edmond, Oklahoma, what would my life have been like? Well, maybe things would have settled down for me and I would have still found happiness. I don't know. I definitely would have been into more money, but does money always bring happiness? Would I have been a little bit further on in paying off some debts? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, always. But would I have been able to do the things that I've been able to do? So in the past 4 years, look at what Christine and I have been able to do. We've built this house. The bank, we don't owe anybody anything. It's paid for. It's not that I'm rich. It's just that I don't have debt. And that's the thing. Like me and Christine, we live on 1/3 of the income that we jointly made in the United States. 1/3. And we're able to live here. Our house is modest. It's small. There's a lot of you guys that wouldn't be able to live here. Matter of fact, you know, you want to come to the Philippines and you think life is going to be cheaper for you. No, it's not. If you want to live life in the Philippines like you live in America, and you want to have health insurance, and you want to have a car, and you want to have aircon running in your house 24/7, and you want to have all these different things, right? All the American things that Americans think that they have to have, that it's necessary to have, then you're going to live, you're going to pay the same price here in the Philippines, if not more, than you would in the United States. That's a fact. But once you live here, especially out in the province of the Philippines, and you realize, hey, these Filipinos don't have cars. They're lucky if they got a scooter. But does that mean that they don't have transportation? No. They take public transportation. They take multi-cabs. They take trikes. They take the things that are available to them that are very affordable. Do they have health insurance? No. Do they have life insurance? No. Do they have all these things? No. Do they have air cons in their house? No. Do they have to go scavenger on the reef for food sometimes? Yes. But are they happy? Yes. Do they have what they need to sustain life? Yes. Are me and Christine that desperate? No. But what I'm saying is we don't live an American life here, but we don't live a poverty Filipino life either. We're comfortable. But if you want to come over here and you want to go live in Makati or BGC or BCG or whatever it's called, or you want to go to Angeles City or Cebu, and you want to live in a condo and you want to have this and you want to have a car and you want to have all these things, you're going to spend the money on it. Me and Christine choose not to. And that's a very difficult thing for a lot of Americans to deal with. They can't do it. They like having those comforts. All right, so be it. I'm not judging. I'm just telling you that's life. You make yourself happy. I'm not going to judge you for it. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. What have we accomplished in 4 years? Well, we've built this house. We have a beachfront place. We've been able to improve it. We now have air conditioning in our bedrooms, right? And it's been pretty nice. It's been really cool. No pun intended. It's been nice. Do we have a good, strong house now? Yeah, we do. I love our place. I enjoy it. We've been able to do all this stuff over the past 4 years. But here's the big kicker. Ask me where I've been over the past 4 years. Well, let me tell you. You know, a lot of people don't even know. They don't even care to know. But I'm going to tell you where all we've been. And I may leave some places out on this. So we've been to Coron, Palawan. We've been to Boracay. We've been to Baguio. We've been to Banaue and seen the rice fields. The UNESCO Heritage Site. What was it? The Avengers or something like that was filmed. We've been there. I've seen that with my own eyes. Dang near had a heat stroke going up the stairs from the from the dadgum waterfall back up to the rice terraces, right? But we've seen that. I've experienced it. I got to meet Mark Blackard of Overstay Road in Angeles City when he was having a karaoke contest. We've been to Phuket, Thailand. That's all I'm going to say about that. Been to Phuket, Thailand twice. But we spent some really good time in Phuket, Thailand in a resort, 5-star resort that I got for a hell of a price. We've been to Australia. Spent a few nights in Melbourne. Melbourne. Make sure I say that right. Can't say Melbourne. Like Ozzy Osbourne. Can't say it like that. It's Melbourne. Anyway, spent a few days in Melbourne. Beautiful city. Excellent. I love it down there. It was cold, but I love it. And then we went on a cruise and got to go see Tasmania. Ask me 7 years ago if I would have ever went to Tasmania. If I would have ever laid my eyes on Tasmania. But I have. I've done that. Came back. Spent a couple of weeks in Bali, Indonesia. Ask me 7 years ago if I would have been to Bali. Hell, 7 years ago, I didn't even know where Bali, Indonesia was. I knew where the Philippines was, but I didn't know where Bali was. I didn't know anything about it. Crazy things, right? And then we go back to the United States, go see family, friends back home, take care of some business, and then we're on a road trip, heading down I-40, going through Arkansas, Memphis, stopped in Nashville, got to show Christine Nashville, went down to Broadway, all that good stuff. Had a great time. Went to Washington, D.C., got to show Christine our nation's capital. Got to go to all the different sites there. It was wonderful. Headed on south. Got to go see my buddy Dan and Ate Wing. Showed us a great time. Finally went to Charleston, South Carolina. Went to see that. Beautiful city. Got to go see the Confederate jasmine blooming. Oh, it was just incredible. Made our way down to Miami. Jumped on a cruise ship. Celebrity Summit. Go down to Colombia. If you would have told me 7 years ago, I would have went to the country of Colombia. Cartagena, Colombia. Man, growing up in the 80s, that's what all I ever knew about Colombia was that's where the good Coke come from, right? But no, it's much more than that. Then jumped back on the same ship and went through the Panama Canal. Got to go see that. Oh, by the way, it's not loaded with Chinese either. That's just not a thing. Made it through the Panama Canal. Got to go stop in Puerto Vallarta. you know, never been to these places. Oh, then ended up in LA. The only time I'd ever been in LA was LAX on the way to the Philippines. But I actually got to step foot, on something other than the airport in Los Angeles. Spent a few nights there before we flew back to the Philippines. Then, after that, we went to Singapore. Spent a few days in Singapore, caught another cruise ship, our first Royal Caribbean. Ended up taking a little 4-day cruise back to Phuket. That was our second trip to Phuket, Thailand. But we also got to stop in Penang, Malaysia. My first time on Malaysian soil. Beautiful place. Came back, spent some more days in Singapore. One of the most beautiful cities I've been in so far. It's modern, but it's beautiful, clean, excellent. We will definitely be showing you more video from Singapore. Absolutely incredible. And then guess what? I get it. It's not within the 4 months, but it's going to be within the 5 years of retirement. In 5 years of retirement, if I would have waited and I would have said, okay, I'm going to retire in 2026, I would have missed this. So here in November, we're going to end up going to Europe. We're going to fly from Manila and we're going to stop in Dubai. Holy crap. There's a lot of stuff going on right there across the, Strait of Hormuz right now? Yeah. But you know what? Everything's cool. No problems. I've been keeping track with it. We're going to end up in Dubai for 8-hour layover. And then we're going to be off to Paris. We're going to end up going to 9 European countries and cities. 9. If you want to know which ones, you got to keep watching. But in the middle of all this, we're going to end up jumping on a cruise ship again. And it's going to be crazy, the itinerary of this one. Absolutely crazy. So stay tuned for that. And you guys will understand, holy crap, if I would have kept on working for another 5 years, these are the things that I would have missed. Well, then when we get back from that trip, before I hit my 5-year mark next July, we're going to take another cruise. And we're going to hit, Singapore. We're going to hit a couple stops in Malaysia and Thailand. One spot in Indonesia, then back up, and we're going to end in Thailand, and then we're taking the land trip. We're going to be on the road and rails in Thailand. These are things that I would have missed. And so my point being, guys, is, it was a gamble. It was a gamble either way. If I would have stayed there and said, all right, I'm going to keep working for another 5 years, yeah, I could have ended up with a lot more money. But look at the experiences that I would have missed over that same 5-year period. And we've had plenty of money to do what we need to do. Is it always, are we in the money? Are we always in the money? No. There's sacrifice here, there's sacrifice there. It's all that, right? If I would have stayed at the PD for another 5 years, could I have made more money? Yeah. But look at all the experiences that I would have missed over that 5 years. Just even the 4. It's amazing. And that's not, I'm missing a lot of these little trips all over the Philippines that we've taken. I missed all those. I've just kind of been giving you all the big ones. And so, yeah. Was it worth it for me to retire when I did? Abso-freaking-lutely it was. And guys, I'm not telling you guys to do what we're doing. A lot of you can't. Some of you absolutely cannot. It's to each their own. I'm not judging you one way or the other. I'm just telling you. And trust me, along the way, I've come across a lot of grief, a lot of people trying to put that doubt in my mind and going, well, you know, you did this or blah, 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 blah. You know, whatever, dude. A lot of it really comes out of jealousy. It really does. And that's, if I can leave you one piece of advice with this video, is don't give way to other people's jealousy. Number one, a lot of people are pissed off because they didn't think about it first. They really, that's really their biggest thing. They didn't think about it first. And so they're going to do whatever they can to try to discourage you, or whatever. You do you. Me and Christine are going to do us. And, you know, live and let live, right? We're going to have our fun. You guys go have your fun. But the biggest thing that I can tell you is life is short. You know, I was talking to my brother the other day, and he kind of reminded me of the fact that, you know, the men in my family, we don't have the longest life expectancy. Now, I told him bullshit. I said, I expect to live to be 120 because I'm getting all my Social Security back. If you want to die early, you die early, but not me. I'm not. I'm living to 120. I'm getting all my Social Security back. It's just the way it's going to be, y'all. Anyway, you never know how much time you have on this earth. And so, how are you going to spend it? Are you going to spend it chasing that dollar for the next 5 years? Or are you going to spend it chasing the memories? The memories that nobody can ever take from you. Right? And that's what we chose to do. We chose to chase the memories, to have the fun. Even though we might have to struggle financially sometimes, we may have to live small here in the Philippines. We're just blessed that we're able to do that, because a lot of you guys in the West can't do that. We can here, at least for now, but until things change, we're going to take advantage of it, and we are going to do as much as we can while we can. Is it always going to stay this way? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, and neither do you. We can only just live in the moment, do the best we can for the moment, and that's all any of us can do. That's it. All right, guys, I know I've been droning on for a while, but anyway, again, it wasn't for you, it was for me. I'm going to watch this 10 years from now, and hopefully I'm laughing and I'm reminding myself of what I thought on this date, July the 20th, a day after my retirement anniversary, 2025. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.